Mods, fire these guys out. Hello world, welcome back to Far Out State of the Game, where I break down my development progress in detail. In case you're new here, I'm a solo game developer working on Far Out, a sandbox game about inventing. You can learn more about the concept of the game in my introduction video linked down below. With that being said, let's jump to the changes now. I've completed the entirety of the plan for the month, and it went pretty well for the most part. Let's go over all of those changes. Starting off, we have steep cliff generation. This one I couldn't figure out for a while, but on some random December night I just locked in and made it all happen in one go. Somehow, which gave me the ability to generate mountains and canyons. It took quite a bit of playing around, because the behind the scenes of generating these is quite a bit more complicated than the previous biomes, but I'm pretty satisfied with the result. I'll need to play around with the way biomes generate, so those biomes would serve as a sort of natural barrier that a player will need to find ways to traverse. Next up on the list is water generation. It was a little janky to make and I had to rework some parts of the world gen code, but it turned out pretty good. The water itself won't have any actual flowing physics, not for now anyway, and I'm not yet sure if I want to implement that in the future or not. With the new water generation code, I made a river biome and also gave canyons a slight chance to have water in them. The code also allows for other types of fluids to be generated in the future, so maybe I could add volcanoes with lava in them, or acid lakes of some sorts. Though there are some issues with sloped collisions when you're not moving at specific speeds, making it impossible to properly randomize the properties of these fluids, and also adding some complications to the possibilities I have with speed-based mechanics. So that's something I really need to tackle in the future. With fluid generation also came the swimming mechanic, which turned out pretty interesting. When you hop in the water, you get glued to the surface of it, with an ability to dive and float around the body of water. Visually, it'll make more sense when I add animations, but the general feel of the mechanic is pretty satisfying in my opinion. And lastly, I've started working on vegetation, adding grass to dirt and moss to rock surfaces. Sorry sand, though the whole thing is extremely half-baked and still needs a lot of work. Let's talk about the future plans now. This upcoming month, I'm planning to, as mentioned earlier, rework the way biomes generate and refine vegetation, which essentially would be the finishing touches of the base terrain generation code, signifying the next phase of development. I'm also planning to tackle the known issues we have so far, being the scroll bar and the sloped collisions. After those are done, we'll be entering a pretty scary realm, being resource generation. It's scary for a whole array of different reasons, so I'll really need to think it through. For now though, the plan is to tackle the most basic resources, add an inventory to store them in, and from there we'll start working on more complex stuff. That's all for today though, have a good one and I'll see you soon.